Welcome to this session of Let's Talk About Physics. I've been thinking a little bit about propulsion and how to move a spaceship in space and different kinds of methods to do that. So there are many things. I mean, iron motors, conventional rocket motors. Solar wind and nuclear motors and such. Many things you can. But I was thinking one day, what if we could make a spaceship move like an amoeba? So when I looked it up, I discovered that what we call this propulsion method is something like which you can describe in one word is pseudophobia, which is a false foot. So then I came up with this idea that I called a core resonant propulsion drive with pseudophobia, and it basically is, if you take two coils perpendicular to each other, if you just simplify this model to a 2D model, you could have two coils perpendicular to each other and extendable rods in each y and x direction, perpendicular 90 degrees. And you could send a current through the coils, one of the coil, and the magnetic field would follow the rod and go around and back again. Let's say south and north here. And you could contract the rod in the same and extend in the other dimension in height instead of width. So the magnetic field could be extend like this in space. It could be something in between. Here you see the amoeba form, and you come to think of pseudophobia, false foot, looking like an amoeba, but actually this is a magnetic field generated from a spaceship with a drive like this. And you could and this is the possibility too. So in one direction is extended with the rods in the X extended to the maximum, with magnetic field following like that, following the conducting metal. This is your resulting field, something in between, and the other direction. So this looks like amoeba. You move like an amoeba in a magnetic field, like the magnetic field of the Earth, and you climb up the magnetic field. And you can do that because before you started this core resonant propulsion drive, you came out in space with ordinary rockets. So it's just micro gravity. So you can use the magnetic field of the Earth's core to climb like an amoeba in height. So it's a false foot drive. The spaceship behaves like an amoeba, and it crawls its way upwards, with extending and retracting the rods, resulting in different kind of magnetic field topologies in space. So actually, when it comes to sun drive, sail, which hits a sail like this, most of you know of the sun sail thing. But this is, by creating magnetic fields like this, you can manipulate in 3 directions, in 3D, of course. This was my 2D example. You are able to funnel protons of solar wind in the direction you want to, creating thrust. Then you don't have to bring matter with you. You like ordinary rockets, you have to bring your things with you. You can use the solar wind to funnel your protons in the direction that gives thrust away from Earth. I've not calculated the resultant forces you can create by this, but I suppose as long as the force you create by this pseudophobia false foot thing with a core resonant propulsion drive is in the same order of the microgravity thing, you could always climb up in the in height or distance from your planetesimal or the sun. So this is it. Maybe sometime in the future we will send up a spaceship who goes through those goes through space with this false foot, going like an amoeba, and with the magnetic field, or as a ladder. Of course, the energy that is called for to climb up these magnetic ladders, magnetic field lines, away from the body, away from the core, is the energy comes here, generated by the coil. But the thing is, you still need energy to climb up those layers, those away from the core, but you don't have to bring with you propellant so your spaceship doesn't have to be so massive, and the price per kilo, or the price per kilo smart load, not dumb load like propellant and so on, goes down. Yeah, I'm really excited by this. So maybe it's the future.